I am the adoptive mother of the real heiress in the story of the true and fake heiresses. In the book, after the real heiress returned to the billionaire's family, she was framed and ostracized by the fake heiress, ultimately being driven out of the family and living a life of loneliness. Watching my well-behaved daughter doing her homework beside me, my eyes welled up with tears as I hugged this real heiress I had raised for 16 years. Don't worry, my dear, Mom will protect you. I came back from work with groceries and saw a long line of black luxury cars parked below my shabby apartment building, my eyelids twitching violently. The day had finally come. A year ago, my head was accidentally hit by a vase, and a memory that didn't belong to me flooded into my mind. Turns out, I was in a story about a real and fake heiress. The obedient daughter I painstakingly raised alone was not my biological child, but the true heiress of the wealthiest family, on the day of delivery. The enemies of the wealthy family randomly switched their daughter with a child from a poor family. I am that mother who had her child swapped for no reason. The fake heiress is the female lead in a doting novel, while the real heiress is the jealous and malicious supporting character. In the book, the real heiress was despised by her biological parents, bullied at school by the fake heiress's lackeys, and when she tried to fight back, she was exposed by the fake heiress. Ultimately being driven out of the family and left to live a life of misery, with mixed emotions, I looked at my daughter doing her homework beside me, my eyes growing warm. How could such a lovely and well-behaved daughter end up like that? I hugged my daughter tightly. Sweetheart, don't worry, Mom will protect you. Julia looked at me inexplicably, her eye twitching. Mom, if you're sick, go see a doctor. Seeing me approach with Julia, the elegantly dressed couple at the front took 2 excited steps forward to greet us. I glanced at them indifferently before shifting my attention to the girl standing behind them. Bella, my biological daughter, dressed in a Chanel suit and carrying a Hermes bag, was gazing at us with tearful eyes. My expression was complicated. After all, she was the daughter I had carried for 10 long months and given birth to. If she treated Julia well and didn't act as she did in the book, that would be the best outcome. However, reality was not so kind. I watched as she took 2 steps forward, timidly tugging at the billionaire's wife's sleeve, her lips trembling with grievance. Mom, is this my sister? She's so close with my birth mother. Unlike me, you're always so busy and barely have time for me. You won't abandon me after finding my sister, will you? If you start loving her more, I'll truly have nothing left. As she finished speaking, tears unexpectedly streamed down her face. The joy in the billionaire couple's eyes at finding their biological daughter faded, replaced by heartache for Bella. They quickly hugged their little princess, softly comforting her. How could that be? You're also our daughter. Your status won't change at all. Mom and Dad will cherish you forever. Holding my bewildered daughter's hand, I coldly watched this heartwarming scene before me, finding it utterly ridiculous. They seemed to have already decided both daughters were theirs, as if my opinion didn't matter. This was only natural. After all, when one family is the wealthiest and the other is a single mother renting a home, anyone would know which side to choose. I don't mind giving my daughter to them, as it would ensure a better future for her, but only on the condition that they truly treat her well. I spoke up at the right moment. Gentlemen, what are you doing blocking my doorstep? Julia and I sat on one side of the sofa, while the billionaire couple and Bella sat on the other. In short, that's how it happened. Our families accidentally swapped babies at the hospital. Lincoln spoke with a sorrowful expression as he recounted the facts, while Mrs. Lincoln beside him appropriately took out a handkerchief to wipe her tears. What a strange twist of fate. Julia widened her eyes in disbelief and numbly patted my shoulder. Mom, did you hear that? I'm actually the daughter of the richest man. Your girl is about to make it big. I removed her hand from where she was hitting me. Your mother isn't deaf. She can hear. Mrs. Lincoln hugged Julia and burst into tears. My dear girl, you've suffered all these years. Come home with me, and your parents will make it up to you. Beside them, Bella pinched herself hard, tears streaming down her face. Sister, I'm so sorry. It's all my fault for occupying your rightful place as the heiress of the wealthiest family all these years. I truly have no face to meet you. I won't compete with you for the position as the Lincoln family's daughter. I don't want anything. I only beg you to let me stay by our parents' side. What a perfect white lotus, as if Julia would ever prevent her from staying with the Lincoln family. Mrs. Lincoln quickly let go of Julia and turned to embrace Bella, soothing her softly and repeatedly assuring her that she would always be a daughter of the Lincoln family. My silly girl looked utterly confused. She didn't understand why, but she just felt a little uncomfortable. I smirked coldly. Even if she was my biological daughter, bullying my precious one was absolutely unacceptable. Over the past year, I had immersed myself in countless stories about real and fake heiresses. Training troops for a day to deploy them in battle, my years of meticulous preparation were finally about to pay off. Suddenly, I burst into earth-shattering sobs, gripping Bella tightly and pulling her into my arms. My dear daughter, so you're my own flesh and blood. You look so much like me. Thank goodness it was a billionaire who switched you at birth. Look at this Hermes bag you're carrying. It's 2 years of our family's living expenses. Look at this little dress you're wearing. All of Julia's clothes combined aren't as expensive as this single piece. Julia has suffered enough with me. I owe her so much, but at least you've lived so well, raised in such luxury. The billionaire couple's expressions changed as their attention returned to Julia. Seeing her clothes covered in patches, their eyes reddened, filled with guilt. Bella in my arms paled, struggling to break free, trying to do something to regain their attention. But I held her tightly in my embrace. To be honest, I haven't been a good mother. Julia has never worn new clothes or eaten much meat growing up. Now that she's back with you, you can make up for all the hardships she's endured over the years. I'm entrusting Julia to you. Please treat her well. The billionaire couple, moved by my emotions, had tears glistening in their eyes as they looked at Julia with affection. Beside me, Julia stared at me in shock, her face full of surprise. Our family wasn't wealthy, but we weren't so poor that we couldn't afford new clothes. The patched-up outfit Julia was wearing was something I had forced her to put on these past few days, all for the sake of winning sympathy from the billionaire couple. Ms. Monica, thank you for taking care of our daughter all these years. Today, we'll be taking her with us, and we'll make sure she comes back to visit you. With that, the billionaire couple prepared to leave with Julia and Bella. I quickly stood up and grabbed Bella's hand. It's fine. I also want to thank you for taking care of Bella all these years. I'll make sure she visits you in the future. The expressions of the billionaire couple and Bella froze. I looked utterly innocent. You take your biological daughter, and I'll keep mine. Isn't that how it should be? Mrs. Lincoln looked embarrassed. The Lincoln family has the best resources. The child will have better development with us. I pretended to suddenly understand. So the Lincoln family wants both daughters after all. Julia tried to say something, but I stopped her with a sharp glare. She wanted to stay, but Mrs. Lincoln was right. The Lincoln family had the best resources, and I couldn't let Julia miss this opportunity. If parents love their children, they plan for their future. Julia was going to the Lincoln family, and I had to provide her with the strongest support possible. I forced out a few tears. Mrs. Lincoln, you too have experienced the 10 months of pregnancy and know the hardships of bearing and raising children. How could you bear to take both of my children away from me? I know I don't have money, but my love for them is no less than yours. A trace of guilt flashed in Mrs. Lincoln's eyes. We will give you $5 million as compensation, and you will also be allowed to freely come and go from the Lincoln family. I put on an expression of being deeply insulted, but secretly. The corners of my mouth curled up slightly. All I want is money. If Julia isn't doing well in the Lincoln family, I can take her back anytime. This money is her safety net. Mrs. Lincoln, I've never spent a single day with my biological daughter. Let her stay with me for a week so I can get to know her properly, and then I'll send her back to you. A flicker of hesitation crossed Mrs. Lincoln's eyes, and I seized the moment. You wouldn't be so unreasonable for just 1 week, would you, Mrs. Lincoln wavered, about to agree when Bella turned pale. She certainly didn't want to spend a week with her poor mother. This week was crucial for her. In the book, as soon as Julia returned to the Lincoln family, Bella openly and covertly accused her of being uncultured and an outsider, making Julia feel no sense of belonging to the Lincoln family. The Lincoln couple, in contrast to the elegant and well-mannered Bella, also had some criticisms of Julia and grew distant. Laying the groundwork for Julia's future ostracism, I won't let these events from the book repeat themselves. Bella must leave the Lincoln family within the next few days so Julia can bond with the Lincoln couple. Seeing Bella about to refuse, I quickly spoke up first. Bella, I know I have no money or skills, and I can't compare to Julia's wealthy biological parents. It's only natural for you to look down on me. I'm not asking you to stay with me forever, just spend 1 week with your mother. Is that too much to ask? Tears welled up in my eyes as I looked at Bella, my heart aching with sorrow. With the Lincoln couple present, she couldn't outright refuse me. She wouldn't want to be labeled an unfilial daughter and ruin her image in their eyes. After all, She was counting on her innocence and obedience to win the affection of the Lincoln couple. Bella's face stiffened, and she forced a smile. Mom, Monica, what are you talking about? How could I ever dislike you? It's just... I didn't let her finish, exclaiming excitedly, "That's wonderful, I knew you'd agree. Why don't you just stay here? I'll have someone bring your things over, and I'll take you to see your room right now." With that, I tightly grabbed Bella's arm and pulled her inside. "Mr. and Mrs. Lincoln, don't worry, I'll take good care of Bella." An extra $10 million appeared in my bank account, transferred by the Lincoln couple. They sent me a text message with most of the content urging me to take good care of Bella, and briefly mentioning changing Julia's surname. I agreed. Just a surname. If it can secure a better future for Julia, what does it matter to change it? Bella looked very upset, but there was nothing she could do. She angrily went to sleep in the guest room I had prepared for her. As I passed by her door, I could faintly hear her sobbing on the phone, complaining to her parents from the Lincoln family. "Mom, do you know what I had for dinner tonight? Monica's mom is so mean to me. There wasn't even a single piece of meat. I know you gave her a lot of money, but she never spends any of it on me. You're so much better to me. When are you planning to bring your little darling home?" Bella's voice was sweet and pleading, full of grievance, tugging at the heartstrings of anyone who heard it. If I hadn't sent the Lincoln family couple photos of dinner, they might have rushed to take Bella back overnight. As early as dinner time, I had already taken photos of the lavish spread, a well-balanced table with meat and vegetables, even lobster and crab, and sent them along with pictures of Bella happily eating. "Mr. and Mrs. Lincoln, thank you for the money you gave me. This is the first time in years our family has had such a sumptuous meal. Julia has been with me for so long and never once had seafood. Seeing Bella enjoy her meal so much warms my heart. From now on, both my daughters can live a good life." There was silence on the other end of the line for a few seconds. They never expected their usually sweet and adorable daughter to slander her own mother like this. But considering it was just a little girl's ploy to vie for attention, the couple didn't expose her. They simply responded with slight coolness. "You'll stay with your mom Monica for a week and keep her company. It's not easy for a single mother. We'll pick you up after a week." No matter how much Bella pleaded, the Lincoln couple refused to bring her back immediately. I returned to my room smugly, secretly pleased with my foresight. At that moment, I received a call from Julia. "Mom, the Lincoln family is really luxurious and grand, and the Lincoln parents treat me very well. But I want to come home even more. Mom, have you abandoned me now that you have a new daughter?" I sensed the sadness in her words and patiently comforted her. "Julia, why would you think that? You'll always be Mommy's precious little darling. The reason I let you stay with the Lincoln family is because I know they have better resources. As the eldest daughter of the Lincoln family, your path in life will be much smoother. I want you to have more choices so you won't have to struggle so much. I know all too well how exhausting it is to have neither money nor connections. As a single mother raising a daughter, I endured endless bullying at work. All the dirty and exhausting tasks were dumped on me, and my boss treated me like a pack mule, because they knew I couldn't afford to quit. My daughter was depending on me. Then why did you keep Bella?" There was a hint of jealousy in Julia's tone. "Mom is keeping Bella here so you can spend more time bonding with the parents from the Lincoln family. Julia, this is a life-changing opportunity for you. You must make the most of it." With that, I compressed the long-cherished story about the real and fake heiresses into a zip file and sent it to her. The next morning, the Lincoln family's driver came to pick up Bella for school. Julia came along as well. The Lincoln couple had already transferred her to the same prestigious international school where Bella studied. Bella straightened her back like a beautiful white swan and gracefully settled into the back seat of the Rolls-Royce. Just as the driver was about to close the door, I stopped him and forcefully squeezed in. Bella froze, then snapped impatiently, "What are you doing?" I blinked innocently. "Today is Julia's first day at school, and I'm worried. I want to go and see how she's doing." Bella's expression changed, forcing a smile. "Don't worry, Mom Monica, I'll take good care of Sister Julia. You should go to work instead of coming along. It's fine. I quit my job, now that I have money. I want to start my own business." I sneered inwardly. There was no way I'd give Bella the chance to hurt Julia. In the book, in order to maintain her status as the only young lady of the wealthiest family, Bella spread rumors that Julia was an illegitimate child. In this international school where all students come from wealthy or noble families, these young masters and misses despise illegitimate children the most. With Bella's instigation, Julia suffered from school bullying. locked in the bathroom, slapped, forced to drink toilet water, and her grades plummeted, so, no matter how much Bella tried to persuade me, I refused to get out of the car. I want to give Julia a fair and open opportunity. When they arrived at school, Bella and Julia got out of the car together, with many classmates curiously watching from the sidelines. At that moment, a classmate who was on good terms with Bella stepped forward, pointing at Julia and asking, "Bella, who is she?" Bella bit her lip, her face full of hesitation. She's my sister, Julia Lincoln." The classmate widened their eyes in surprise. "Your sister? Since when did the Lincoln family have another daughter?" Bella pretended to look troubled, lightly biting her lower lip with pearly teeth, her gaze wandering. It's my sister. She was just recognized yesterday. Please don't ask any more." Tears glistened in Bella's eyes, and in an instant, the surrounding classmates' gazes toward Julia turned strange. Her ambiguous, insinuating words clearly implied, both overtly and covertly, that Julia was an illegitimate child. Frowning, I suddenly stepped forward and grabbed the classmate's hand, exclaiming with exaggerated alarm, "You're Bella's good friend. Thank you for taking care of our Bella." The classmate, confused by the current situation, awkwardly called out, "Auntie." Bella seemed to realize what I was about to say, her expression changing as she tried to pull me away, but I had already opened my mouth. 06. I am Bella's biological mother. Julia is actually the Lincoln family's real daughter. At the hospital, our two families accidentally switched babies. I was supposed to swap them back, but the Lincoln family holds such high status and power, while I'm just a small employee, for Bella's future. I had to painfully agree to let her stay with the Lincoln family. I hope that in the future, you can take care of Bella on my behalf. The onlookers' expressions changed again. These young masters and misses weren't fools. They now understood the true meaning behind Bella's earlier words. The wealthier the family, the more they value bloodline. In their eyes, Bella was nothing but a clown who had usurped the real heiress's position, and she had just tried to deceive them with ambiguous words. If I say anything, they might really think Julia is an illegitimate child and try to bully her. She's clearly using them as pawns. Thinking this, their gazes toward Bella also carried a hint of disdain and anger. Bella's face turned bright red as she roughly pushed me away. "Why won't you leave me alone?" After saying that, she ran off excitedly, leaving Julia and me staring at each other in bewilderment. "I'm sorry, my sister just found out about her identity yesterday, and the emotional shock is too much for her. Please don't blame her." Julia mimicked Bella's earlier melodramatic tone and innocently explained. I looked at her in surprise. She was playfully winking at me. I feel quite relieved. It seems Julia has read my treasured true and fake heiress stories and can now fiercely confront that scheming fake heiress. In the evening, Bella didn't return, and I received a message from the Lincoln family couple. They asked me to visit the Lincoln family to properly discuss Bella's situation. I raised an eyebrow. Did Bella complain to them? I should make good use of this opportunity. Upon arriving at the Lincoln family's home, as soon as I entered, I saw Bella throwing herself into Mrs. Lincoln's arms, crying pitifully with tears streaming down her face. Mr. Lincoln looked at me with slight anger and immediately began to reprimand. "Ms. Monica, what do you mean by today's actions? I know you're unhappy about us taking the two children away, but you can't harm Bella, can you?" Frowning, I responded calmly and firmly, "Mr. Lincoln, don't make baseless accusations. Bella is my biological daughter. How could I ever do anything to harm her?" Mr. Lincoln was momentarily speechless, seemingly at a loss for how to reply to me. "Mom Monica, I know you have no feelings for me, but you can't just embarrass me for my sister's sake. It's all because of what you said. Everyone in class is laughing at me now." After saying this, Bella burst into tears again. I pinched the bridge of my nose, my face full of heartache and hurt. "Bella, I'm sorry. I didn't know you didn't want to acknowledge me as your mother, even though I carried you for 10 hard months to bring you into this world. So it turns out that having a lowly office worker like me as your mother is something that embarrasses you. I'll never presume to call myself your mother again." At that moment, tears welled up in my eyes, and my face darkened with sorrow. Choking back sobs, I defended myself. "I only spoke up because you couldn't properly explain Julia's identity, and everyone was about to mistake her for your illegitimate child. I did it to protect the Lincoln family's reputation, yet I never imagined you'd resent me for it. Your own unworthy mother." The expressions of the Lincoln couple changed instantly. They were well aware of the intricate schemes within wealthy families and recognized this as Bella's little trick. Bella hastily spoke up, eager to salvage her image in the eyes of the Lincoln couple. No, she was interrupted by Julia. Julia rushed straight to embrace me, her eyes brimming with tears. Bella, you've lived in comfort all these years, like a princess of the Lincoln family. It's normal to feel a bit of a gap now. But no matter what, she is your birth mother. You can't reject her just because she's poor. Back when I was sick and needed surgery, it cost $30,000. Mom worked 5 jobs a day to scrape together the medical fees for me, and her legs were permanently disabled from that time. She truly is a wonderful mother. She would never intentionally do anything to embarrass you. Julia and I clung to each other, sobbing uncontrollably. Compared to the hardships we endured, Bella merely had her true identity revealed. It was truly insignificant. Tears welled up in the eyes of the Lincoln couple, with Mrs. Lincoln hugging Julia tightly. My poor daughter. Why has fate been so cruel to you? Julia wiped away her tears and shook her head firmly. I'm content to have met such a wonderful mother as Monica, and to be recognized by the Lincoln family. I ask for nothing more. Amid the warm and joyful atmosphere, Bella's face turned green with envy. This time, without Bella's interference, the Lincoln couple felt heartbroken that Julia had suffered with me all these years, harboring guilt towards her and showering her with endless affection. Moreover, through my repeated efforts, the couple also began to hold some grievances against Bella. At school, everyone came to know that Julia was the true heiress of the Lincoln family, treating her with great respect and ensuring she would never face bullying. Everything was moving in a positive direction until, a month later, I received a call from the hospital. Hello, are you Bella's biological mother? She fell from the 3rd floor and is currently undergoing surgery at the hospital. My eyelids twitched violently, and a sense of ominous foreboding surged in my heart. When I rushed to the hospital, I saw Mr. Lincoln slapping Julia hard across the face. In that instant, all the blood in my body froze. Just as the next slap was about to land on my daughter's face, I quickly grabbed his hand to stop him. What are you doing? Can't we talk things out properly? Hitting a child is no solution. Mr. Lincoln took 2 heavy breaths, glaring fiercely at Julia, and pointed at her forehead with his finger, demanding, what are you doing? Ask your precious daughter yourself what she's done. I looked down to see Julia's face devoid of expression, her eyes empty. Mom, I didn't push Bella down the stairs. My heart twisted into a knot, and I quickly reassured her. Mom believes you. Julia would never do such a thing. Mrs. Lincoln sobbed tearfully. Are you still being stubborn? We all saw it. You were the one who pushed Bella. I never thought I could have given birth to such a wicked daughter. Bella has taken over your life for more than a decade, but it's not her fault. Why can't you just tolerate her? Mr. Lincoln wearily rubbed his forehead and said with a magnanimous tone, when Bella comes out, you should apologize to her. Considering you're our biological daughter, let's just let this matter pass. Bella is a kind and gentle girl. She will forgive you. In an instant, I felt my hand being tightly gripped. Julia's lips turned pale as she looked at the merciful pair before her with utter despair. I sighed deeply. No matter how much I tried to guard against it, I never expected Bella would stake her own life in this gamble. I believe Julia. If she says she didn't do it, then she truly didn't. On the contrary, you two as parents are truly laughable, unwilling to trust your own biological daughter. Do you really see Julia as that kind of person? The Lincoln couple seemed hesitant to speak. But before they could say anything, I took Julia by the hand and walked straight out of the hospital. Since you haven't treated Julia well, just give her back to me. From today onward, Julia has no connection whatsoever with your Lincoln family. I thought the matter would be over once I took Julia away from the Lincoln family, but I never expected Bella to be unsatisfied. She wanted to ruin our reputation. A week later, a video went viral online. In it, Bella, dressed in a hospital gown with a pale face, tearfully recounted the wrongdoings of Julia and me. She claimed Julia was jealous of her beauty and the affection from their parents, secretly ostracizing her and even pushing her off the 3rd floor. She also accused me of being a cruel mother, alleging that I had abused her throughout the week she lived with me. With the operational capabilities of the Lincoln family and the attention that comes with being the wealthiest, Julia and I became public enemies. When we went grocery shopping, people around us pointed and whispered, "That's Monica and her daughter. They look so innocent, but who would have thought they could be so vicious?" The Lincoln family took them in out of kindness, and this is how they repay them. You can't judge a book by its cover. I kept a straight face, holding Julia's hand as we walked forward, only tightening my grip slightly. I arrived at the small stall where I usually buy groceries. But to my surprise, the vendor took one look at me, quickly packed up, and ran away. It was as if I were some kind of monster. After walking around the market, none of the vendors would sell to me, and some even outright chased us away. Julia clenched her fists tightly, biting her lower lip hard. I sighed, feeling some regret for leaving Julia in that heartless family. I had thought I could protect her and secure a bright future for her, but in the end, I failed to do anything. It's okay, Julia. Let's go buy it at the supermarket. When Julia and I finished grocery shopping and arrived at the entrance of the neighborhood, a masked person suddenly rushed out from the side. He shouted, "You hurt Bella, and I won't let you get away with it," as he charged toward us, holding a bottle of transparent liquid. He violently splashed it in our direction. Unable to dodge in time, I shielded Julia, and a painful burning sensation spread across my back. It's sulfuric acid. Julia's eyes reddened as she called the police with a trembling voice. While unconscious, I faintly heard Julia speaking. She said she wouldn't let Bella off, that she would make Bella pay, and that she would protect me. During the 2 weeks I was hospitalized, Julia softened her stance toward the Lincoln family. In front of Mr. and Mrs. Lincoln, she formally apologized to Bella. After all, Julia was the couple's only blood relative, after so much time had passed. Their anger toward her had long since faded. After offering a few token words of reprimand, they accepted her back. Julia wore an expression of obedient gentleness as she tenderly took Bella's hand. Meanwhile, Bella's face turned pale and then flushed. She hadn't expected Julia to return. "Sister, aren't you happy to see me? I will return every gift you gave me and Mom one by one." Just as the two daughters seemed to have reconciled, it happened to coincide with their birthdays, and the Lincoln family decided to throw a grand birthday celebration. As Bella's biological mother and Julia's adoptive mother, I was naturally invited as well. At the birthday party, the big names of S-City gathered, and Bella's classmates were also present. Adults disdain discussing family matters. But children are different. They are most enthusiastic about gossip involving wealthy families. Have you seen the video that's been causing such a stir lately? Who would have thought Julia was that kind of person? Bella didn't ask to be switched at birth either. She's a victim too. Julia actually pushed her off the 3rd floor, making it impossible for her to play the piano ever again. She's practically a demon in human form. That mother of hers isn't any good either. Actually abusing her own flesh and blood. I smiled faintly, paying no mind to these rumors. "We are truly delighted that you could take time out of your busy schedules to attend my daughter's birthday banquet." The banquet officially began, with Mr. Lincoln delivering a speech on stage. Bella and Julia were also ushered onto the stage amidst the crowd. Both were dressed in exquisite and beautiful princess gowns, wearing tiaras adorned with diamonds. However, Bella was still in a wheelchair, having fractured her leg from the fall from the 3rd floor last time. This video documents every precious moment of our daughter's growth. Please watch the screen. The screen then displayed a montage of clips. Photos of Bella from childhood to the present flashed by, wearing princess dresses, her first day at school, past birthday celebrations, all set to beautiful music. It was clear that a great deal of thought had gone into it, from childhood to adulthood. She has always been so elegant and beautiful, an angel nurtured by love and wealth. The video ended without showing Julia, yet clearly, today was also Julia's birthday, and she was supposed to be one of the protagonists of this banquet. The audience below began to murmur, their faces filled with disdain, while Bella didn't even bother to hide her smile, her eyes brimming with triumph. Judging by the Lincoln family's attitude, it seems they don't care about their biological daughter at all. After Julia did such an embarrassing thing, it's already generous of the Lincoln family to acknowledge her. She should be secretly thrilled. Amidst the laughter, Julia walked onto the stage with composure. The Lincoln family didn't prepare a VCR for me, but it's okay. I made one myself. After speaking, she dodged the staff trying to stop her and began playing the video she had prepared. The images on the screen flashed one by one, photos of Julia from childhood to adulthood. Totaling only a little over a dozen, there were no carefully staged artistic portraits, just messy backgrounds, faded clothes, and certificates of merit that had been carefully framed. It formed a stark contrast to Bella, who had grown up in a gilded cradle. The Lincoln couple's expressions changed, a flash of pain crossing their eyes. Unexpectedly, they still felt heartache for their daughter. The audience erupted in murmurs. No one had imagined that the eldest daughter of the Lincoln family had endured such hardship before. I say, it was Bella who took her place and enjoyed over a decade of wealth and privilege. No matter how you look at it, the Lincoln family owes Julia an apology. Was Bella's behavior just now a show of arrogance? Honestly, it's a bit tacky. Bella's face turned pale and then flushed. But she had no reason to step forward and turn off the video. Suddenly, the large screen went dark. Just as Bella thought the video was over and let out a sigh of relief, another surveillance clip and audio recording appeared. Bella's face turned deathly pale. She rushed forward to turn off the video but was shoved aside by Julia, falling to the ground in a humiliating heap. The footage showed Bella with a twisted expression of jealousy and malice as she spat. "Julia, why did you have to come back and steal my position as the eldest daughter of the Lincoln family? Can't you just stay in the garbage heap with your mom, Julia, and rot away? Since you refused to leave, don't blame me for forcing you out." With that, Bella grabbed Julia's hand and violently pulled her toward the window. The room fell into complete silence. LOL, my Julia has truly inherited the essence of my fake heiress novel. How could she possibly be without the essential surveillance and voice recorder? Whenever she's alone with Bella, she turns on the voice recorder. And the room was already equipped with surveillance long ago. No, it's not like that. Let me explain. Bella looked flustered, her face smeared with tears and snot. She helplessly tried to grab Mr. Lincoln's hand, but he coldly avoided her every time. "Everyone, I apologize for making you witness our family's disgrace. From today onward, the Lincoln family severs all ties with this disgrace." At this moment, Julia also spoke up calmly. "From today onward, I also sever all ties with the Lincoln family." The Lincoln couple widened their eyes in shock. Mrs. Lincoln forced a smile and said, "Julia, what's this tantrum about? We've driven Bella out. From now on, you'll be the only heiress of the Lincoln family." Julia stared coldly into Mrs. Lincoln's eyes and said word by word, "This is no tantrum. It's because you chose Bella over me, time and time again. You all know Bella can't eat spicy food, but you never knew I liked it. The meals at home never had any spicy dishes. The homecoming gift you gave me, a crystal lamp, was accidentally broken by her the very next day, yet you only told me to forgive her, and in the end, because of her coquetry, you gave each of us a new crystal lamp. Why, that was supposed to be my one-of-a-kind gift. She framed me clumsily, yet you didn't even want to hear my explanation. Do you truly lack the ability to investigate? Or are you just afraid of facing the truth you might uncover?" I endured all of this, but when Bella incited someone to throw sulfuric acid, causing my mother to suffer second-degree burns on her back, you still urged me to forgive her for the sake of her future. In Julia's accusation, the Lincoln couple could no longer hold back and cried out in pain despite their age. Julia gathered all the necessary evidence and sent Bella to prison. The Lincoln family has already severed ties with Bella and will not step forward to bail her out. Her leg was fractured, her hand left permanently disabled, she missed the college entrance exam, and had a criminal record. Her life was essentially ruined. This was also the consequence of her insatiable greed and self-inflicted suffering. I visited her in prison. At first, her face was full of anticipation and flattery, but the moment she saw it was me, her expression instantly turned to disdain. "Why is it you?" I calmly took a seat and said, "Of course, it's because the Lincoln couple never want to see you again. You caused them to lose their biological daughter forever, and I had to come see my own flesh and blood. I don't want a poor, shabby mother like you. My only mother is the wealthy Mrs. Lincoln. I'm clearly your daughter. Why are you helping Julia against me?" I smiled faintly. "And I don't want a criminal for a daughter either. If it weren't for your insatiable greed and your attempts to push Julia aside, I wouldn't have treated you that way. It would be best if the two of you could coexist peacefully, but since you framed and ostracized Julia, I had no choice but to protect her. Think carefully about how you managed to ruin such a good hand you were dealt." Ignoring Bella's shouts, I walked out of the prison. Julia took the college entrance exam and was admitted to a prestigious university far from home. After discussing with Julia, we decided to leave this city filled with too much drama and settle in the city where her university is located. With the initial $10 million given by the Lincoln family, our living conditions improved significantly. The Lincoln family found out about our booked flight tickets. Before our departure, the successful yet weary-looking couple from the Lincoln family, who appeared to have aged considerably, came to see us. They still wanted to persuade Julia to change her mind. I went out for a walk, leaving them time alone together. The three talked for an hour, and when the Lincoln couple came out again, their faces were streaked with tears, their eyes filled with unmistakable regret. "Mom, let's go." Julia was carrying a suitcase, her face beaming with a radiant smile. "Our happy life as mother and daughter is about to begin." After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, let's continue to see another similar story. The real heiress is also the fake heiress. I was the abandoned real heiress when the police brought me home. I became the object of disdain for the entire family. The fake heiress was perfect in every way, beautiful, sweet-natured, and an outstanding student, the admired academic goddess in everyone's eyes. Until the day the college entrance exam results came out. I crushed the fake heiress by a mile with my top score in the city. Sorry, but I'm coming clean. I'm the real academic genius here. On the day the exam results were released, my parents accompanied the fake heiress to check her scores while I sat in a corner, casually munching on sunflower seeds, until excited voices erupted from their side. 682 points. Mom, Dad, I did it. The fake heiress Nina threw herself into Mrs. Taylor's arms, and Mrs. Taylor, with tears in her eyes, hugged her tightly. "Our Nina is the best. I knew you could do it," the father said with a smile. "Don't you see whose daughter Nina is? My daughter, George Taylor's daughter, is naturally outstanding. I've booked a restaurant. Our family is going out to celebrate with Nina tonight. Let's go now. I'll get the car." I sat in the corner, about to open my laptop to check my grades. Just then, I heard Nina's voice from over there, feigning concern. "Mom, Dad, aren't we going to wait for Emma to check her results?" Mother's expression turned disdainful as she spoke bluntly. "What's the point of looking at her results? It would only embarrass our family. Let's go. We're not waiting for her. This family has always been like this. My biological parents don't like me. In their eyes, Nina is the true daughter of this household. I'm just an outsider. After nearly a year back in this family, the familial affection I once longed for has long been worn away. Now, all I want is to leave this home." Only after hearing the sound of the front door closing did I turn on my computer to check my college entrance exam results. 704. They were 2 points higher than I had expected. I was immersed in joy when my phone beside me rang. I answered the video call. A man and a woman appeared on the screen. "My adoptive parents." "Sweetheart, have your college entrance exam results come out yet?" my adoptive mother asked. I smiled and said, "The results are out. I scored 704. Oh my. That's even higher than your brother's score back then. You're amazing, my darling. Let mommy give you a kiss." As she spoke, the woman on the video leaned in, only to be blocked by a hand. I heard a familiar voice coming from the video call. My grip on the phone slightly tightened. "Is brother there with you too?" My adoptive mother turned the phone camera, and I saw Simon's handsome face. My little face stiffened for a moment, but I quickly masked it. I gave him a faint smile. "Hello, brother." When Simon looked at me, his gaze lingered tightly on my face, and he frowned slightly. "You've lost weight." I almost couldn't keep my expression in check. My adoptive mother asked anxiously, "Are your biological parents treating you poorly?" "I'll book a flight back tomorrow." The Taylor family, right? How dare they bully my daughter? They deserve to go bankrupt. I was amused by my mom. Simon looked at me, his eyes full of concern. My adoptive father sighed. "Emma, we respect your decision. But we don't want you to force yourself. If you're unhappy, just come home. We'll always be your support." I was touched. "I understand, Dad. I gotta go. My friends are taking me out to celebrate. Have fun abroad too." I quickly hung up the phone, tears streaming uncontrollably down my face. I wasn't actually that sad to begin with, but when someone shows concern, I just can't hold back my emotions. 2 days later was our high school graduation ceremony. I finished my breakfast in the morning and had just stepped out when Nina, sitting in the car, waved at me triumphantly. "My dear little sister, I'll be going ahead. You can take a taxi by yourself. Bob, let's go." With that, Nina rolled up the car window, leaving me with nothing but the exhaust fumes. I feel a bit speechless. I had no choice but to scan a shared bike by the roadside and ride to school. When I arrived at the school gate, I ran into the school heartthrob and a few other guys and girls, with Nina being the center of attention in the crowd, standing on the steps, looking down at me condescendingly. I had no intention of paying attention to this group of people, so I tried to bypass the crowd and head to the classroom. Unexpectedly, someone stopped me. "Hey, I'm talking to you." country bumpkin, don't you know how to greet us when you see us? How rude." I looked up and said, "Am I that close to you?" My words made the girl who stopped me change her expression. Nina held the girl's hand and looked at me with an innocent, rabbit-like gaze. Emma didn't do well in the college entrance exams. Let's not joke with her anymore. After hearing this, several people immediately showed looks of disdain. A country bumpkin like her, transferred from the countryside. It's only natural she'd do poorly on the exam. Emma, you probably don't know yet, but our Nina has already been accepted to the same university as the school heartthrob. Someone like you could never catch up to her in this lifetime. You might as well just waste your time at some vocational college. Isn't that right, everyone? Ha ha ha, amidst the wild laughter of several girls. I raised my head, my expression revealing a hint of impatience. Had enough. "If you're done, could you move aside? You're blocking my way." The smiles on their faces froze. They looked at me in disbelief, probably never expecting that the once silent and reticent me would say such things. Before, it was because the college entrance exam was approaching, and I didn't want to deal with them, focusing solely on my studies. Now that the exam is over, I naturally have no more concerns. As they watched me take off my backpack, ready to fight them one by one, they quickly stepped aside to clear the path. "You're crazy, Emma. Try me and see if I'm crazy or not." As I walked past those girls, a mocking smile curled at the corner of my lips. Bunch of cowards. A group of boys and girls instantly changed their expressions, shouting threats from behind. "Emma, just you wait. If you have the guts, come back." I walked ahead, rolling my eyes. Only a fool would go back, and I'm no fool. When I arrived at the classroom, I ignored the stares and went straight to my seat. I was just about to take a nap. Then, a noisy commotion reached my ears. Nina was being escorted to the classroom door by the school heartthrob, and the two of them were clinging to each other, reluctant to part. The classmates excitedly rushed over to watch the scene. Ah, the goddess and the school heartthrob are so sweet together. They look like the male and female leads straight out of a novel. I'm so jealous. When will I ever have such sweet love like this? I want it too. Give me a boyfriend like the school heartthrob. Nina walked into the classroom with a sweet smile on her face. Under the envious gazes of everyone, she spotted me in the corner. She walked straight towards me and placed the small dessert on my desk. "Emma, I noticed you didn't eat much this morning. Here's a little dessert to fill your stomach." She's always been like this at school. As if only by my side can she appear so outstanding. I slowly opened my eyes, looking at the exquisitely packaged pastries in her hand. She said lightly, "Sorry, I don't like sweet things." Who was it that caused me to skip breakfast this morning? None other than Nina, who took both breakfasts Aunt had prepared. Nina looked somewhat nervous, looking at me with those innocent big eyes. "Emma, even if you didn't do well on the test, you can't skip meals. I'm really worried about you like this." "Thank you very much." I slightly curled my lips. "Who said I did poorly? Did you dream about it?" When I was taken back to the Taylor family, because Mr. and Mrs. Taylor couldn't bear to part with Nina, they simply announced to outsiders that the two of us were biological sisters. They were afraid Nina would be heartbroken, so they used this method to give her a sense of security. So in everyone's eyes, Nina remained the lofty heiress of the Taylor family, while I was just a country bumpkin from the sticks. But they didn't know, I wasn't actually just an ordinary transfer student from a rural high school. The police found me while I was accompanying my adoptive parents at a countryside resort. The only reason I returned to the Taylor family was out of longing for that blood bond. But now even that bond is gone. I no longer want to keep playing along with Nina's act. "Emma, don't get upset. I mean no harm. I just wanted to comfort you." Nina, upon hearing my words, wore a look of grievance on her petite face, making everyone around unable to stand it. A boy pointed at me and said, "Emma, how can you talk like that?" Nina meant well. "Besides, with your consistently bottom-ranking grades, do you really think you can do any better?" The surrounding classmates burst into mocking laughter. "If you ask me, you're sisters by blood. Yet you haven't learned even a bit of Nina's excellence. If I were your parents, I'd be ashamed for you. How dare you criticize others when your own grades are nothing to boast about? If you ask me, Nina is just too kind, putting up with someone like you bullying her every day." The classmates gathered around Nina, comforting her while bad-mouthing me. I smiled slightly and said to Nina, "Good sister, do you also think it's my fault?" Nina shook her head, maintaining her pure white flower image to the end. "No, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have come to comfort you knowing you didn't do well on the exam. I was waiting for her to say exactly that. I propped my chin on my hand, watching the drama unfold, and said, since I'm not in the wrong, aren't you going to stand up for me when the classmates talk about me like this? They're bad-mouthing your sister right in front of you. As a good older sister, how can you just stand by and do nothing? Nina's face turned red with frustration. And she could only turn to the classmates behind her and speak, you, stop talking about Emma. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have disregarded her feelings. Say whatever you want about me. Teardrops as big as beans fell, and the surrounding classmates panicked. This trick again. I lay down bored and went back to sleep, half asleep, half awake. I heard the homeroom teacher's voice and looked up again to see them already standing on the podium. They were holding a bouquet of flowers. With a beaming smile, they walked into the classroom, and instantly, the room fell silent. The homeroom teacher Leo said, Happy graduation, everyone, happy graduation, Leo. A boy from the back of the class stood up and said with a laugh, earning a warning glance from the homeroom teacher, you little rascal, not even pretending anymore, huh, since when do you call me Leo? I'm sorry, teacher Leo, ha 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 ha. A burst of laughter erupted in the classroom. Everyone, quiet down. I have some happy news to share with you all. The homeroom teacher adjusted her glasses, her smile stretching almost to her ears. Regarding this year's college entrance exam results, all 40 students in our class have been admitted to their dream universities. Congratulations to our classmates Nina and Spencer for successfully being accepted into Tsinghua University. Nina and another male classmate stood up. The entire class erupted into enthusiastic applause. The homeroom teacher waved her hand to signal for quiet. Not only that, but one student in our class scored 704 points, securing the top spot in the city this year. As soon as these words were spoken, the whole class erupted in an uproar. Everyone wore expressions of disbelief. No way. When did our class produce such a genius? Wasn't it always the class president and Nina competing for first place? Could it be? Everyone turned their gaze toward the class representative. The class rep waved their hand awkwardly, saying, Don't look at me. It's not me. The homeroom teacher interrupted again. All right, everyone, stop guessing. This student is just an ordinary classmate. An ordinary classmate. Who could be this impressive? This is simply a comeback story. All right, the classmates in the class looked around, practically guessing every single student. Only then did the homeroom teacher speak up. This student is Emma. Congratulations, Emma. You've successfully secured first place in the city, bringing honor to our school. Please come up to the stage now. The homeroom teacher led the applause, but the classroom remained eerily quiet. Everyone's mouths hung open as if they had heard something unbelievable. Nina barely managed to maintain her smile, sitting there completely stiff. The homeroom teacher adjusted his glasses with the knowing air of an experienced educator. He had been utterly shocked during his conversation with the principal. He'd speculated about every student in the class, except for Emma, who ranked last, becoming the top scorer in the college entrance exams. All right, everyone, let's give Emma a round of applause. The class gradually snapped out of their daze, their expressions a complex mix, especially those few who had previously spoken ill of her. His face looked as if he was constipated. The homeroom teacher handed me the bouquet. He patted my shoulder and said, Emma, go to the academic office quickly to take a commemorative photo. I nodded and stepped out of the classroom under everyone's gaze. After school, the news about our school producing a top scorer in the college entrance exam became known to everyone in the school. Outside the school, many media outlets had gathered, carrying my small bag. I left the classroom alone and ran into Nina and the school heartthrob with a few others. I could visibly see Nina's face darken. I couldn't be happier inside. Emma, even if you scored first in the city, so what? You're still just a country bumpkin. The school heartthrob will always love our Nina. I smirked and said, Is that so? The school heartthrob looked extremely guilty under my gaze. Emma, since you did well on the test, focus on your studies from now on. Don't try to claim things that don't belong to you. We can still be friends in the future. I'm a bit disdainful. Who wants to be friends with you? I just hope we never meet again. What bad luck. After I left, I sent a surveillance video to the school group chat. I was about to turn off my phone. Suddenly, someone called, and seeing the caller ID, I answered the phone with some caution. Brother, a deep, pleasant male voice came through the phone. Where are you? I'm at school. Come out. I'm waiting for you at the gate. I hurried out. Look, is that Emma who ranked first in the city? The senior is so beautiful. I want to be as amazing as her. But didn't I remember she's Senior Nina's sister? Someone mentioned she was competing with Senior Nina for the school heartthrob a while ago. Everyone, check the school group chat. There's some shocking tea. At that moment, a surveillance video was posted in the school group chat, causing many lurking classmates to surface. No way. The person in the surveillance footage is the school heartthrob, who said Emma was pestering him. I clearly saw him harassing Emma. No way. I can't believe the school heartthrob is like this. How did I never notice before? I'm disgusted. So when he couldn't get his way, he slandered Emma by claiming she was the one harassing him. Does this guy have any shame? This is just scumbag behavior. I actually believed his words before. I left the school and spotted the man surrounded by a crowd from afar. Simon stepped out of the Lamborghini, leaning slightly against the car as he checked the time on his watch. Despite his efforts to keep a low profile, he still caused quite a stir, because with that face of his, simply standing there made him a breathtaking sight. Many female students passing by couldn't take their eyes off Simon as they walked past him. Some even started taking photos with their phones. I made my way through the crowd under everyone's gaze and approached him. When Simon looked up and saw me, a hint of tenderness finally appeared on his otherwise expressionless face. He naturally took my bag and opened the car door for me. Let's go. I got into the passenger seat, and as the car drove away, I could still hear the faint murmurs outside. Ah, he's so handsome. What's the relationship between Senior Emma and him? They look perfect together. It instantly feels like the male and female leads from a novel have come to life. If only the man we just saw was our senior. He's so much more handsome than the school heartthrob. Don't compare that scumbag to him. He's not worthy. The commotion at the school gate quickly spread to the campus forum. Nina stood behind a large tree, her entire face twisted with rage in the shadows. She couldn't tear her eyes away from the scene she had just witnessed. She, Emma, is just a country bumpkin from the countryside. How could she know such a handsome man? She must have used some underhanded methods. Maybe she climbed into his bed to latch onto such a powerful connection. Emma, just you wait. I will definitely expose you. Let them know how despicable you are. After having dinner with my adoptive parents in the evening, Simon drove me to the entrance of the Taylor family's residence. He personally unbuckled my seatbelt for me. In the confined space, the two of us were very close to each other. I could smell the faint sandalwood scent on him, since childhood. I've always loved his fragrance. I used to have to sleep next to him to fall asleep. Later, as his work grew increasingly busy, I sometimes didn't even see him twice a week. Because of this, we had several arguments. Each time, he would leave without saying a word. I was extremely upset and decided to get to the bottom of it, so I bought a plane ticket and rushed over to find him that very night. As a result, I got lost on the streets in the middle of the night. When I called him, he stormed over angrily and scolded me. In the end, he held me tightly and wouldn't let go. That night, he kissed me, not the kind of kiss between a brother and sister, but the kind between lovers. I melted into his arms, completely weak. The next morning I slipped away, hiding and not daring to see him. After that, I was contacted by the police, who said they had found my family. Actually, it had been a year since our last meeting. I thought I had already sorted out those feelings. But when I saw him again, I couldn't help but feel my heart race. Have you made up your mind? Are you planning to leave the Taylor family? I lowered my head. Emma said, I've thought it through. The Taylor family doesn't need me. My leaving is the best choice for everyone. Simon looked at me for a long moment, then gently hugged me. I forced a smile, knowing he was comforting me because he feared I'd be sad. I'm not sad. After all, I never had much of a bond with them anyway. Simon let go of me. Call me if you need anything. Okay. I got out of the car and entered the Taylor family villa. I was heading upstairs to my room when I suddenly noticed the light was on and the door was slightly ajar. My expression froze. I quickly pushed the door open and stepped inside. There I saw Nina rummaging through my things. What are you doing, Nina? She was startled by the voice and dropped what she was holding. It was a bracelet. It was a birthday gift from my adoptive mother, bought at an auction. I wanted to keep it safe as a memento. Now it's all because Nina broke it. I was so angry I lost my temper. How dare you enter my room and rummage through my things? Nina had never seen me so furious before and looked utterly aggrieved. I didn't mean to. I was looking for you and found you weren't in your room. Where on earth did you go in the middle of the night? I couldn't help but laugh. Where I go is none of your business, is it? So that's your excuse for going through my things? Nina, where are your manners? Nina's face turned red then pale as I spoke. Finally dropping the act, she stared straight at me and said, "What's wrong with me going through your stuff? This whole house is mine. Can't I go through my own things? As for you, Emma, you wouldn't be feeling guilty if you weren't up to something, would you?" I was so angry I could laugh. Me, feeling guilty? Your ability to twist the truth is really improving by the day. Put that down and get out of my room right now. I was absolutely furious, and it certainly showed on my face. As soon as I finished speaking, Mrs. Taylor's voice came from behind me. Seeing this, Nina immediately put on a pitiful expression and ran to hide behind Mrs. Taylor. Pointing at me, she said, "Mom, I suspect Emma has been secretly seeing a man behind our backs. I saw it with my own eyes today. She got into a man's car. That man even bought her a lot of expensive things. She's just a country girl. How could she afford such things? It must be that man giving them to her." Mrs. Taylor frowned, looking at me with displeasure. Is what Nina said true? I opened my mouth to explain, but Mrs. Taylor cut me off. At such a young age, you're not learning anything good. Instead, you're chasing after men. Has the Taylor family been too harsh on you, or have we starved you? Are you really so shameless as to throw yourself at someone? You're a disgrace to the Taylor family. How could we have a daughter like you? I let out a light laugh. Like mother, like daughter indeed. Nina barged into my room and rummaged through my things for no reason, yet you're not scolding her. Instead, you're yelling at me. What a wonderful mother you are. Nina's innocent face was filled with extreme fear as she shrank behind Mrs. Taylor and whispered softly, I just wanted to ask Emma about the situation and found she wasn't here, so I planned to wait for her to return. Then I saw the things on Nina's desk." Mrs. Taylor gently patted Nina's hand, signaling her not to be afraid. Then she turned to look at me. "Nina didn't do it on purpose. Why are you being so aggressive?" "Me, aggressive?" I retorted. "Fine then. Since you all say I'm being aggressive, then I'll just be aggressive. Shouldn't you, as her mother, be the one to pay for the bracelet she broke?" I've calmed down now. I don't plan to explain much. Those who believe in you will naturally trust you, while those who don't will call any explanation an excuse. Since we've already openly fallen out today, I don't mind making the break complete. Mrs. Taylor looked at me as if I were something filthy. She said, "Isn't it just money you're after?" Mrs. Taylor tossed a bank card at me and said, "There's 100,000 in there. Is that enough? Take the extra money, cut ties with that man, and I'll give you another 500,000. I looked at her as if she were a clown. "You don't really think this bracelet is only worth 100,000, do you? Then how much could it be worth?" I held up 5 fingers. 50,000. Nina glared at me fiercely. "This piece of junk is worth 50,000. You're trying to scam me." I spoke slowly. "Who said this thing is worth 50,000? Nina seemed to let out a sigh of relief. "I told you, this piece of junk is worth at most a few thousand." I curled my lips into a smile. "This thing, 5 million, 5 million. Mrs. Taylor and Nina both widened their eyes in shock. Mrs. Taylor, "Emma, don't push your luck. Our Taylor family owes you, but we're willing to compensate you with 500,000. If you keep this up, you won't get a single penny." I gently picked up the shattered bracelet and carefully wrapped it in a handkerchief. Turning around, I spoke, "Keep your 500,000 for your coffin, and I'll leave on my own. No need for you to kick me out. Please leave my room now. As for what you owe me, I'll take it back bit by bit." Mrs. Taylor snorted coldly. "You'd better mean what you say, or don't blame us for making things ugly later." "Nina, let's go." The next day, I packed up my belongings, picked up my luggage, and turned to go downstairs. Mrs. Taylor and Nina were still happily having breakfast. When they saw me coming down, they gave me a cold look. I couldn't be bothered to see them again and left the house without looking back. At the same time, the photos posted by classmates on the campus website were also dug up by others. The campus group chat was buzzing with activity. The man in the photo turned out to be the CEO of Time Group. It's that renowned Time, which almost monopolizes half of the business circle. My God, what's the relationship between Emma and the CEO of Time? They seem so close. Are they lovers? After this question, my information was quickly dug up by netizens, not lovers, but reportedly the adopted daughter of the former CEO and his wife of Time. And guess what else I found out? Emma isn't just the adopted daughter of the Johnson family. She also holds 30% of Time's shares under her name. She's currently the largest shareholder in Time after the CEO. Don't question it. My dad is a senior executive at Time. This revelation left everyone stunned. The next day, Mrs. Taylor was just about to go out to play cards with her friends when she was stopped by several reporters. "Excuse me, are you Mrs. Taylor? What's going on with me?" Mrs. Taylor adjusted her hair upon seeing the cameras. The reporter explained their purpose. "We're here to interview your daughter about her outstanding achievement of ranking first in the city in this year's college entrance exams. Would that be convenient?" Mrs. Taylor was momentarily stunned by the news, seemingly unable to process it immediately. She asked again, "Are you saying our daughter got first place in the entire city?" "Is that true?" The reporter checked the address to confirm it was correct before reassuring Mrs. Taylor. Mrs. Taylor was so happy that she even stopped playing cards and quickly called Nina, who was playing outside, to come home. When Nina returned, she was accompanied by a few good sisters, all heavily made up and, most notably, reeking of alcohol. When Mrs. Taylor saw Nina enter the door, the smile on her face couldn't be hidden, smiling as she spoke. "You child. You got first place in the exam and didn't even tell me. Look, the reporters have already come to our home, and I only found out now." Nina was completely bewildered as she was pulled in front of the reporters. Mrs. Taylor happily laughed. "Come here, Nina, the reporters are interviewing you. Do your best. Mom will be recording right beside you." The reporter sitting on the sofa had a strange expression. They opened their phones, and the photo displayed clearly wasn't the girl in front of them. Could they really have come to the wrong place? I think we made a mistake. Do you have any other daughters? The one we're looking for is this person." The journalist showed my photo to Mrs. Taylor. Mrs. Taylor's face turned pale on the spot. "Are you mistaken? My daughter scored 682 in the college entrance exam. Isn't she the top scorer? You can interview her too." The journalist stood up awkwardly. "Sorry, if this person isn't from your family, we'll take our leave now." The reporter hurriedly left. Mrs. Taylor's face instantly fell, and she began to curse loudly, ignoring Nina's attempts to stop her. "What kind of lousy reporter? You want to interview my daughter, but I won't allow it. Who cares?" Nina held on to Mrs. Taylor to stop her from chasing after them to scold, and Mrs. Taylor turned around to demand, "Is what Nina and the others said true? Did that Emma really score first in the entire city?" Nina nodded, noticing a hint of regret flash in Mrs. Taylor's eyes. She rolled her eyes and quickly added, "Mom, maybe we should bring Emma back. I believe if we apologize to her, she won't blame us." Upon hearing this, Mrs. Taylor's initially hesitant expression instantly turned into one of disgust. "Why look for her? She suffered outside and now she wants to come back, expecting me to apologize to her. Absolutely out of the question." In a corner where no one could see, Nina's eyes revealed a smug smile upon hearing these words. "Emma, even if you scored first in the entire city, so what? Mother still doesn't like you." Meanwhile, I was lounging in a seaside villa, leisurely munching on potato chips. Life couldn't be happier. When Mrs. Johnson returned, she hid the small box in her hand. "Darling," I threw myself into my mother's arms and nuzzled against her. "Mom," Mrs. Johnson gently patted my little head, her face full of adoration. "You must have suffered these past few days. Look what I brought back for you." She held the small box in her hand right in front of me. I opened it to find an exquisite bracelet. "Mrs. Johnson, I noticed you kept looking at that broken bracelet before, thinking our Emma must really like it, so I bought another one for my darling, though it's not the same. I spent a long time picking this one out. Do you like it?" Holding my mother, tears streamed down uncontrollably. With a choked voice, "I love you, woo-woo. I love you. Mommy loves you too." No one knew that Mrs. Johnson had been in a car accident while she was pregnant, and after that, the doctor said she could never have children again. It wasn't until later when Mrs. Johnson saw me being bullied by other kids at the orphanage, she took a liking to me at first sight. After that, she brought me back to the Johnson family and raised me as her own daughter. I know that deep down, Mom might always carry that sense of regret, and I am the one who fills that void for her. Sometimes family bonds don't necessarily require blood ties. They're built through years of companionship, so I love her, whether she's my mother or not. A week later, Simon told me that the Taylor Group went bankrupt overnight. An insider transferred all the funds, and this person was none other than Mr. Taylor's best friend, and the Taylor family might not know that Nina's biological father is this so-called good friend. All of this was part of his plan. Over a decade ago, Nina's father, envious of Mr. Taylor's business, swapped his own daughter with the Taylor family's daughter. The Taylor family's daughter, that is, me, was casually abandoned. Now, for some unknown reason, this man couldn't sit still, and overnight, he absconded with all the company's assets. Even Nina disappeared along with them, leaving Mr. and Mrs. Taylor to clean up the mess. When I heard the news, I was so happy I clapped my hands in delight. What do you call a wolf raised to bite the hand that feeds it? That's exactly the kind of person Nina is, I asked. So what's the current situation with Taylor Group? Simon placed a chicken wing on my plate and said, rumor has it they're under investigation. Over the years, under George's leadership, Taylor Group has been involved in quite a few illegal activities. They won't get away with it. I blinked at Simon, a faint suspicion forming in my mind. Brother, did you do something? Simon paused while picking up food, his deep eyes fixed on me. Do you want to stop me? Looking at his serious expression, my heart seemed to skip a beat. No, I looked at him. I just think they're not worth it. They'd dirty your hands. Simon's expression softened slightly, and his voice grew gentler. Don't worry, I only told Nina's father about what George did. I didn't expect him to run off with the money the next day. I burst out laughing, and not only did they run away, but they also reported the Taylor Group. It has to be said. The Taylor couple never got their timing right when it came to watching the drama unfold, inviting the wolf into their home only to end up utterly defeated. A few days later, the Taylor couple was taken away by the police, and I even went to the scene that day. The rain was pouring from the sky as Simon shielded me by his side. Standing across the highway, I watched the Taylor couple being escorted out by the police. Both of them looked utterly exhausted. It was as if they had aged a decade in an instant. When they saw me, it was like spotting a lifeline. They desperately rushed toward me. Emma, save us. Your father and I know we were wrong. I know you have the ability, don't you? I'm your mother, Mrs. Taylor cried, her face covered in tears. I stood in the crowd, smiling faintly as I spoke. Sorry, but I'm not here to save you. I'm here to send you off. Upon hearing this, Mrs. Taylor knew I wouldn't save them anymore. Her venomous gaze fixed on me with sheer malice. Emma, you ungrateful wretch. If it weren't for me giving birth to you, how could a little bitch like you be so arrogant? I should have strangled you at birth when I had the chance. I curse you to die a horrible death. Simon covered my ears and led me away from the crowd. In the car, he silently fastened my seatbelt and stayed by my side without a word. I looked at that familiar face I'd grown up seeing. As if possessed, I blurted out a sentence. Brother, I'll be an adult in half a month. Simon looked at me in confusion. I blinked my eyes, taking the opportunity to wrap my arms around his neck. Are those words you said earlier still valid now? Simon raised an eyebrow, naturally. A mischievous glint flashed in my eyes as I looked up and, before he could react, lightly pecked the corner of his lips. Then I immediately let go, turning my burning face toward the window. Then on my birthday, I'll give you my answer. In the confined space, I could feel Simon's breathing grow heavier. Quickly, I pushed him away with my small hands. Not now. Focus on driving. Simon laughed in frustration. Fine, I'll drive. That night, I still couldn't escape the price of teasing him. Staring at my swollen lips in the mirror, my eyes burned with anger. This guy must be part dog. On my birthday, I held a party by the seaside, and all my close friends from the circle came. Even my childhood friend flew back from abroad. Upon hearing about what happened between me and Simon, they widened their eyes in shock. No way, no way. That Simon guy is something else. I always thought there was something off about you two. Closer than regular siblings, but I never thought too much about it. Who knew this guy actually had feelings for you? While my precious cabbage got dug up by a pig, I feel kinda sad. What do I do? Will you still play games with me in the future? You won't forget about me just because you have him now, will you? My childhood friend was very upset. I assured her, absolutely not. He's super busy. He won't be able to spend much time with me anyway. That's good, that's good. I told her about my plan, and her eyes widened in surprise. Emma, can't you be a bit more reserved? What girl confesses to a guy first? I pouted. Why not? I like being the one who takes the initiative. Fine then, I'll play the role of love's bodyguard for once. As the gathering was about to end, I spotted Simon in the crowd and, ignoring the gazes of those present, pulled him away from the party. We ran across the beach, hands tightly clasped together, neither of us letting go. I led him behind the reef. There awaited the surprise I had prepared for him. The twilight concealed my burning, flushed face as I offered him my sincere heart with both hands. Then I spoke the words I had never dared to say before. I was sober, because I knew, I truly loved you. We kissed under the dusk, while brilliant fireworks bloomed across the sky, and our best friends, who had been hiding behind the rocks, all came out cheering. They held party poppers in their hands, laughing loudly. Get together, get together, get together. Emma must be happy. Simon took my hand, intertwining our fingers, and I turned to look at him. I think I will be happy. After hearing the two stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.